is my absolute pleasure today to talk about Harold Lloyd's Safety Last. What a great silent film, and one of my favourites now. You know, when it comes to great comedians, names such as Charlie Chaplin, Harold Lloyd, Buster Keaton, Laurel and Hardy come to mind. For they really get what comedy is, that it has to be right on the money, that it has to have a sense of timing and a sense of the situational. This is what I think we're getting away from now. And in terms of the stunts that Lloyd did on this film, oh my goodness, fantastic. I mean, he was an icon. In modern times, the best we can hope for is, well, Tom Cruise doing his Top Gun Maverick stuff. But I would argue that such antics probably won't stand the test of time quite like Harold Lloyd's Safety Last, or even Buster Keaton's The General, for those were unique. And given that we're now in 2022, and this was made in 1923, nearly 100 years ago, and it's still the best, nearly 100 years later. I mean, fantastic. And the story is so endearing. Harold Lloyd goes to work as a department clerk, and he'll send for his lady when he's raised enough money. As it is, he's scraping together every cent he can just so he can buy her a little bit of jewellery, and she goes off to see him, and then there's lots of like she thinks that he's the general manager of the store. Oh goodness gracious me. And how he tries to keep up the facade of actually being the man in charge, you know, showing us that's how you make that, and you know, acting all austere. It's brilliant acting and comedy, and terrific. Stands the test of time, a masterpiece. And that word is overused for the simple fact that no modern film can be called a masterpiece, because what makes a masterpiece? Time. And sometimes it's not a film that's critically acclaimed or even successful at the box office which earns such a distinction. Indeed, Ridley Scott's Blade Runner was one such example. There are many others. But I digress. Safety Last. Why should you see this film? Why is it a great film? You should see it because, well, these things are absolutely amazing to behold. The tower climb, which Lloyd does in the film. You can see the backdrop of the city. I mean, just look at that frame there, and it's one of the most famous images in movie history. And it'll have you on the edge of your seat, laughing, it'll move you. The love story is just absolutely enchanting. The expressions on Lloyd's face are just, it's next level. I mean, it's just an absolutely unique motion picture. And it's a great film because it stood the test of time. And Criterion Collection, I'm going to give them a little bit of a plug now, they can thank me later. They are wonderful in restoring and keeping these films alive. The Carl Davis score, he is one of the best. Check out Ben-Hur, that's another great one. Fantastic, you know, just everything about this movie, from the way it looks to the way it feels, the script, acting, the direction, it's a class act. And you know, you don't need profanity and computer generated imagery, because they didn't have that back then. You know, there were rules, and I would argue that rules sometimes make for better art. In certain cases, not always, but in certain cases. And in this case, well, you're not going to get much better than that.